Thanks for checking out our channel here. This is going to be a little kind of overview, review video, whatever you want to call it. This is on a Kencove. I believe the model is like EKD16, something like that. It's a 16 output joule, I believe. It's a dual powered AC/DC unit, runs off of either or, 110, 120 volt and 12 volt. But it has a cord on the end here. It comes out the back that you can unplug and switch out to from AC to DC. They both have the same end on there. They just just plug the other, whatever one you want to plug in there is what you use. But these are pretty good units. We work on a lot of different models and brands, but we don't see this 16 joule coming that often. This is a pretty fancy unit to a point. I mean, the circuit board's got a lot of technology on it and computery stuff on there because it's a pretty smart unit on the inside. It's also an adaptive output unit, so it adapts its output based on the load it feels hooked up to it. So we'll kind of go through it and kind of talk about some of the features. On the Wi-Fi part of things, here's our information. We don't sell these, but we do work on them. So if you got one that's broken, you're welcome to send it here. We don't see these in for repair that often, but they are repairable. They're too darn expensive to just throw away. With them being dual powered, or not dual, Wi-Fi capable, they have the way the Wi-Fi kind of works is when you buy the unit, you don't have to use the Wi-Fi. It's just there as a feature if you want, and you download an app to your phone, and the paperwork comes with it, what app to look for, and download the app. Once your unit gets synced up to the Wi-Fi and you get your phone connected to it as well, you can actually talk to the unit and you can actually get some feedback from it. So I think if you send like a little text thing to it, say, hey, what's my unit doing, or what's the voltage on it? It tells you what kind of kV reading you're getting and joules and stuff. So if you text it and says, okay, you're getting 3.2 kV, like, oh shit, I got a bad short somewhere. Or if you text it the other day, next day, or another time it says it's reading 6.9 or 8.2 or whatever. Okay, not doing too bad. But you can also turn the unit on and off from your fence. You can or from the app. So if you're out there in the fence, you find your problem. Oh shoot, there's a tree limb down on my line. Well, instead of trying to meander the stuff off there while the unit's trying to pulse, and that way you don't get shocked by the fence on accident, you can go to your phone. Because I mean, not everybody these days carries a smartphone, but a good chunk of people have a smartphone in their pocket all the time. So it's kind of a nice thing to have. I mean, got your cell phone with you already, smartphone, whatever you want to call it. You can download that app for the unit, get all synced up to the Wi-Fi if you're able to. Hit that button, tells the unit to turn itself off or standby. You fix your fence, fix your problem, whatever. Hit the little button on the app, turn it right back on. And then you can see if the unit's still working great or if there's still some kind of problem somewhere. So it's a pretty slick deal. And this, like I said, this is an adaptive output unit, which means it adapts its output based on the fence load that it feels hooked up to it. So if it's a pretty clean fence, probably be running pretty nice and clean and clear. But if you get some kind of load on it, it will ramp itself up based on what it feels. So we're going to hook up the power to it. The two numbers on here, the stickers wore off this one because it's been around a little while. But it has a button here you can push. You see what voltage is on your battery, or the power coming in. Like we got a power supply hooked up to 12.8, and it said 12.8 there, but this is also now in standby. You can see it's not clicking, it shows the dash on there. So I push the button again, it goes back to running. So this number here is your kV output voltage, says 7.8 kV. This number on the right is your stored joules. Like I said, this is 16 output joules. The number on the right is your stored joules. So stored joules and output joules are two, they're both joules, it's two totally different things. If you think of like an engine on a tractor or vehicle or whatever, you've got engine horsepower, and then like on a tractor you've got PTO horsepower, or on a vehicle you've got like wheel horsepower. So you got stored joules is your horsepower at the engine, and output joules is the horsepower at the PTO or at the wheels. So if you got to say a 100 horsepower engine, you might have 75 horsepower at the wheels or the PTO, just throwing out numbers there. But you always have loss between stored joules and output joules, or engine horsepower and PTO horsepower is always lost because you got to go through the transmission and blah blah blah, trying to get to the actual working part of things. You always have loss. So 16 stored joules what the thing's set at right now based on what it's doing. and it output joules might be like 8 or 9 or something like that. But as it gets a load hooked up to it, and depending on what that load is, that number will climb on the front there. It might come to 25 or 30. I'm not sure what this max stored joules is. But we're going to put a screwdriver across this. We're going to touch one of the hot and one of the ground, and we're going to get really close to it, kind of spark it throws. So you can see how the numbers changed. It fell down like 5.9. Now see, it also adjusted itself. It's up to 21 stored joules because it felt a load hooked up to it. Now you can see it's dapping itself back down because it feels okay. Nothing's bothering me. It slowly dropped back down to 16 or 17, whatever it was at before. It probably does it every few pulses just so it can make sure that the problem's not still there. So it's just dead short it and see how high that joules will climb up to. See, now it's back to 16. So it is an adaptive output unit, which is kind of nice. A lot of brands don't do that technology because that costs money. So you can't really dead short it because it's sound off an alarm. You see it has two lights on there. The stickers wore up. This is like your fence light, power light, whatever you want to call it. I think it's your power light. It pulses every time it clicks. Now if I get a bad, I think if you get a heavy enough load on it, I had shorted out where it's reading 0, but I think if you probably get below 3 or something like that, that light will probably come on and tell you, hey, you've got a problem. See, we're at 3 kV. The light's not on yet. Let's see if we get. Looks like right about 1000 kV is where the alarm sets. This little beeping sound goes off, and probably will send you a text say, "Hey, you got problems, sir. You need to go fix your fence." But I think it looks like it climbs about 24 joules output, or stored joules. Sorry. So probably output, output by them is probably up to 16 joule output. So probably if it once it gets down to 16 stored joules, it's probably close to 10 output joules or 9 output joules, probably what it's sitting at joule wise. I don't know what the exact joules is besides what they state, but let's no, I don't need that. But I would probably consider this one. Go to Kencove's website, Kenkove, and you can look these units up. We don't see them in that often. You don't have to use the Wi-Fi stuff. It's there. If you can use it, great. If you can't, you're paying for a unit that does that. But this is a pretty reliable unit. Like I said, it runs off of AC or DC. It's 16 stored. It's a well-made unit. They're not as expensive as some of the other brands like Gallagher's and Speedrights that are in the same power range. They're not quite as expensive as those, but these are pretty reliable units. These are made by a company called, Kencove sells them. They're made by a company called Pacton, Pakton. They're an Australian company, makes these things, and that company makes all sorts of stuff for electric fence, a bunch of different fence chargers, fault finders, remotes, all sorts of different things, I think. But anyways, that's a whole different company. But Kencove is a distributor for this private label one that they sell, EKD16. So one thing else I could think about it is, like I said, there's usually a sticker on there that covers up these buttons and everything. It also kind of seals off this LCD. Well, stickers wore off because the guy used it outside on 12-volt system. But I would probably, even though this is made to kind of be outdoors in 12-volt situations, I would probably myself be on the safe side. For kind of money you pay for this thing, I'd probably build a box or something to put it in. I'd put a cover over it, and I would put it all the way around the whole thing, the whole sides and top. And water can't really get in from the front and the back. Now it can on this one because this freaking sticker's gone, and the stickers are on back order. So the guy said he wasn't too worried about that, but the only thing I'm worried about is bugs or water inside these little holes, or down inside here. He did say, well, can't you just put some silicone around that LCD? I'm like, Yeah, but you know, when you take this cover off, if that silicone's stuck right there, it's going to be stuck to that LCD, and then you have to take a knife and cut around there. That's just asking for a pain in the neck for a guy to work on it. So I would just protect it, or if I could get a sticker, put a sticker on there and cover it up. The stickers are on back order right now, so that's the unfortunate thing about that. But that's how our world is right now. Is everything is back orders at the yin yang. But I like these things. This is like the second one I've ever worked on and had in here for repair. So pretty reliable. It's a nice hanger thing on the back there. Everything hang from the wall. You know, she put screws and hang like that. You do with a picture. I'll put a nail or a screw and it's put right in that middle, that little notch right there. So yeah, I'll put a link down below if you want to. We're not getting any kind of kickback from Kencove or nothing, but I'll put a link down below if you want to find out about it. But just go to kencove.com and just browse around, and you can find their this dual powered 16 joule unit. Now they're not cheap; they're probably $500 or more for. I don't know what they go for. We don't sell them. We're just a repair place, but I'd consider looking at one if it's me wanting a new unit that's pretty potent. Now, they don't. Kencove doesn't sell a smaller or larger one that does Wi-Fi, at least that I know of. There's others out there, I'm sure, but not from this brand, this company. But that's it for us. If you got any questions about this unit, I mean, I'll answer whatever you got best I can, or just call Kencove up and pick their brain about it. There's our information right there. If you ever get a broken fence charger of some sort, whether it's this model or something else, we do work on fence chargers. So our main focus is fixing these things that when they break down. So, anywho, I'll put links to our websites, our personal sites, as well as Kencove's website, and the link to this particular unit. So if you've got any questions, you're welcome to hit us up. Until next time, we'll see you guys later on.